Hi everyone, Scrappy Kathy here with a 20-page layout share, and I apologize for not doing these any more frequently, but when I have multiple challenges going on, like since the 1st of October, I've had 3 things going on. The load, which goes all month, and the 12 Days of Autumn Scraplifts at Scrap Squad, which went 12 days, of course. And then from yesterday and 7 days previous was the 7 birthday sketches at Scrap-A-Sketch. So I've tried to do all of those and blend them as best I could and combine them with regular weekly things that I do. But there was never any time to fit in an extra video. So today I did 3 challenges in one on my morning layout, which is the last one that we'll see in this layout share. And I will squeeze this layout share in the afternoon. So we'll try to make that work. And then I'll tell you at the end of it what I'm going to be doing the rest of the month. So this is one that when I made it and when I posted it, I didn't have a photo for, but it was the day 1 of load and I needed to get it loaded into the load gallery so I would qualify for the finisher's prize. It's all Paige Evans papers, and it's all Vicki Boutin fussy cut florals, and then this die cut vellum floral, and a Pink Fresh title. Kind of a prompt about a matriarch, and so I call myself the matriarch in the basement, and this is one of my favorite photos of kind of herding cats, which is what it was like with all the kids all at once going to a movie back in the day. This is one that's kind of a crazy grid. I took the design, the grid design that I was scrap lifting, and I just threw scraps at it. I had miscellaneous scraps from all over the place, and a die cut that I'd done here. This is a stamp of that clip, and I keep this stamp on my desk. And whenever I have a scrap that's the right size, before throwing it away, I'll stamp a clip out of it, because you can use them on just about every page. This one is another grid, and this grid is built by frames. And I did a little journaling inside this frame. And this, I had to use French scissors for the load prompts. So I had a black circle that was the inside of something else I had cut. So I just went ahead and used my fringing scissors on it. Used some of those plumeria that I had grown and then took a photo of, and then ran the photo through a bunch of filters. I have sunflowers and a penguin for John. This one has photos of Barrett at basic training. There he is lined up to do the crawling in the mud exercise. And then here with the lights of the barrack there and the sun going down, you can see a soldier there by the light of his phone. So that's kind of cool. Again, another one with lots of scraps, including this butterfly, which just had a half a wing. And I used some very old Chamel paper, which I desperately didn't want to use. And I've saved the rest of this scrap that I have so I can fussy cut some of those bugs. And these are old 7 Gypsies papers. This is one I did as featured designer for Load, the prompt being about being active and rocking into your golden years. And look, I have another clip here. It was based on Tina Turner, who was out rocking and performing and wowing everybody up into her 70s. And these are photos from when Scrappy Adam and I went to see the Rolling Stones at Anfield Stadium in Liverpool last June. And it was when I guess Mick Jagger was 79. I think Keith may be older, but anyway, there were some septuagenarians in the on the stage, and there was one in the audience, at least one in the audience, and I'm thinking there might have been a few more out there. So what my journaling says is that if Tina can rock till 70 and Paul could headline Glastonbury at 80 and Mick could take the stage running at 79, then I can be out in the audience rocking for as long as I want to. And this is a very different kind of page. Love this blush sort of background. I took papers from, everything on here is from the September Mind the Scrap kit. And I cut papers into tags and cut the little reinforcers and switched them out and used some, florals. And I have some from 49 and Market and some from Pink Fresh and some from Simple Stories. So they're all mixed up in there. And this paper is from Photoplay. This is kind of a tongue-in-cheek. We were asked, it was something about royalty, and so I called it Queen of Somewhere Hot, which is a take on a Jimmy Buffett song called King of Somewhere Hot. And I thought if I'm going to be the queen of someplace hot, I wanted to have colorful money like that in Fiji. And this photo was taken in Fiji. And I just kind of built up all the tropical stuff around it. This was a little bit different page where we were to tell a story about, I forget what the prompt was, just a story about something to do with your career or something like that. So anyway, it's about how I was leading and so excited to be leading a presentation as the developer of some software that some of our foreign affiliates were interested in using. And they came in for the demo, and I was in the room, and they gave me their coffee order. So I got the coffee and came back and led the meeting. So anyway, I could have made a fuss, but it wasn't who I was in those days. These days, if something like that happened, I might make a snarky remark, but maybe not. This is a homecoming page about Ava. It was for Mixed Media Mayhem, where we needed texture and stamping and shimmer and shine. So I have some star-shaped sequins in there and very little embellishing for me because I wanted the focus to be on that big old title, and I used the fake stitches down the sides. Used some more fake stitches here. I love those things. They're there too. This is a favorite page of mine. It gave me a chance to say that the best part of having a broken ankle was Snuggles from Scout. So, I love the cast that the kids had written and drawn on with their markers. This is a page for Scrap It Like It's Hot, or Stamp It Like It's Hot. And the challenge for this month was to stamp images and cut them out and use them on your layout. So when I stamped these, I looked at the colors and I started assembling markers and maybe watercolors and thought about coloring them. And I thought, no, I think the black and white might stand out better. And look, there's more clips. I ended up liking that a lot. So this is another tropical one. You can tell I got a lot of those leaves in the Mind the Scrap kit, and I had bought a package. This was about scrapping about an escape that you like to take. And John and I love to escape down to Margaritaville Beach Hotel in Pensacola, which is no longer, they've rebranded it to something else. But it'll always be, in my memories, it'll always be Margaritaville Beach Hotel. And I doubt that I'll ever stay there now that it's not. Just between you and me. So I took this photo on my only stay there by myself. It was after John had passed away, and after he passed away, a few months later, we took what we call the Kokomo tour, and we went to all of his favorite places, or a lot of his favorite places, and spread his ashes. And Margaritaville Beach Hotel was the first stop on that tour, but I had the whole family with me. So this one was I was going to see Patrice, and I stopped there by myself. And I was reading a book that was given to me by my friend Helen, and had a bottle of water. I was on the pool deck, had just come out of the pool and was reading while looking at the ocean outside and all the beach umbrellas. It was a nice little escape, kind of bittersweet. So I used lots of tropical stuff, some bramble fox tropical leaves on here, and even a little playbill from Escape to Margaritaville, which was a Broadway musical that Jimmy Buffett wrote. This uses all printables from scrapasketch.com, and it was the Scrapasketch birthday sketch number 2. I don't know where number 1 is. Let's see, did I write that down? It must have been somewhere back in here. I'm not sure where it is, but I know I did all 7 of their birthday sketches. So I used the printables on this. I think the only thing that's not a printable is this little ladybug here and this bee here. And I actually filtered those photos to get a fall palette showing, because we don't have fall colors around here. The photos were taken in fall, but we don't have fall colors unless we run them through a filter that gives us fall colors. This was a kind of a crazy page. It's meant to have an arty, reflective sort of look. I forget what the prompt was. This was the sketch that I used, and it was something to do with advice you'd give to yourself or something like that. So anyway, I used some mixed media in the back. I got some stickers and cut the center out of them, and then put a thing that says you can do anything. And I really wanted letters that just looked like they were embossed on this paper. And then I used a color matched sticker and stitched it down with my fake stitching. So I love this page. This is a photo that I took for a, I think that's my passport photo. That's going to be on my, when I renewed my passport, I think that's going to be my passport photo. And the filter I used not only showed, but emphasized all the little spots I have on my skin. So I'm not sure I entirely like that, but the colors were right. This is one called Happy 8th. When it came up to be the 8th of the month, I wanted to do a page about the 8th. And so I did a search. I have 53,000 photos in the cloud and accessible on my phone. And I did a search for August 8th. And so it would show me all the photos I took on any August 8th since I've been taking photos on the phone, or anything that had that date. And I found this one, which was kind of we took the kids to this great little gastropub called Cosmo that had the best poutine. And I know Katie and I shared a poutine that night. And they had the most amazing mac and cheese. And that's, I'm sure, what Ava got. And Barrett probably got something inspired by whatever it was his dad ordered, because that's what he did. That's how he rolled. And I'm not sure what John's favorite thing was in there. I think he ordered something different every time, but probably I think they had a really, really good grilled chicken. So it was a really kind of a fun night that I honestly had forgotten. And I talk in here, my journaling says we met on an 8th, had our first date on an 8th, married on an 8th, and every 8th we celebrate our month anniversary. Sometimes we traveled to an exotic locale. Sometimes we walked to the local Starbucks and spent hours over coffee and a forbidden pastry. Sometimes we dressed up and went to dinner and a movie or a play or a concert. And sometimes, like this October 8th in 2014, we took the kiddos out to Cosmo, where Katie and I probably shared a poutine, but we always marked the day. Today I got the happy 8th reminder he set on the first Mac I owned in 2006. And every 8th of every month I get a happy 8th message from John. So this was one of the sketches, the Scrap-A-Sketch sketches, and I honestly didn't know how I was going to do this one, but I picked some of the same papers that I used on an earlier page and just punched flags out of them and made a grid of different size photos. And this was for Scrap Backwards, and I had these are fussy cut from a P19 paper, and they matched all these other things which were not from P19. But I had this kind of sticker sheet with these little puffy stickers called Little Dreamer, and I think it was an Echo Park. And I decided that I'd let that, there was this one thing right here that says, let's have a tea party. I let that help me in my search for photos. So I went searching for Ava in her little kitchen making tea parties on the table that we had painted for her for Christmas that year. And this is the little kitchen setup that we had set up for her. And I hadn't documented any of that. And so it just was perfect. What I regret that I didn't ever get, I know somewhere there's a photo, or at least I couldn't find it. I know somewhere there's a photo of her serving the tea to John, and I couldn't find it. I searched for photos of Ava, I searched for photos of John, and I may just be making it up and lying to myself, but I swear there's one in there somewhere. I'm going to try to find it, and if I can find it, I may try to find some way to add it to this page. This page was about an award. The prompt was about an award you've won. So I went searching for award. And I found this. This was a scan I had taken of the flyer at our fitness center at South Shore Harbor in December of 1992, and it was talking about the winners of the October Marathon. And this is our team right here. That's John and that's me. And we were second place team, and we got the Team Spirit Award because most of our points were from working out together. And so it was a really fun thing. So I cropped John and me out of it, and unfortunately the bend, the fold in the little paper went right across John's face there. I'm short enough that it escaped me. But I used a lot of Paige Evans stuff from Splendid and maybe other collections for that one, and that was a Scraplift. This is probably my favorite page of all. It's I used the irises that were on the purple papers that were given to me by one of my subbies to kind of set me on a search for photos I've taken of our purple irises. And so I had these three. I fussy cut these out of the paper and kind of laid them on there so that they would have some dimension, added some, and everything on here except this title came from that 49 and Market lavender collection that I was so generously given. And it is one of the Scrap-A-Sketch birthday sketches. This one was a Scrap Squad lift, and it was, the prompt was something about, what was the load prompt? It was something about a tradition that was handed down through the generations in my family, and gardening was certainly it. There were others, but gardening is the one that I think I've also handed down to, at least both Barrett and Ava are interested in gardening and have always been. I used several different October afternoon papers, including Farm Girl, and Farm Girl is where these canning jars came from. And I took some photos of some harvest. October has always meant harvest time, and it was also time where you harvested all the summer stuff and quickly planted cool season crops like radishes and spinach and lettuce to grow in the fall. And this year is the first year in my memory that I didn't have a garden outside for various reasons. And I won't have a fall one either, but I'm getting things kind of cleaned up and ready to go next spring. So this one is another one I threw a lot of scraps at. And it was a birthday page for Allie. This was done on the 11th, and that was her birthday. She's 22. And I had photos of Ava, Allie, and Katie at a concert. And the prompt was about siblings. And so, as I said in my video when I made this, Katie is Ava's half-sister. Allie is Ava's half-sister. But Katie and Allie are former stepsisters. They're not stepsisters anymore, but they're as close as any sisters have ever been. And so, in fact, we're all taking Allie out for dinner tonight before she and Katie go out. And so I just kind of used scraps and flowers, and this was a bit that I had cut off from that other page I did right there. I cut that off of there. And I just kind of wanted all the colors. And we were supposed to use hearts in the page. So I have these, this paper has little tiny hearts. And I think I have a couple other hearts. Oh yeah, there they are right up there. And this one, I like this page too. These photos were taken by James when he was out on a run on two different occasions, on runs through Newtown Park, which is just right down the road from us, just right across the street. And they were clearly fall. This was when the leaves were beginning to fall from the trees, and this one was when the trees had lost all their leaves, and there wasn't much color to them. So I ran them through a filter called Corn on my Prisma app, and it pumped them up into these colors, which gave me that blue that I was going to use anyway. And these are all Bramble Fox paper snips, and this is the Bramble Fox title, Bramble Fox perspective, and another perspective. But this was just a lot of fun. This was a Scrap Squad scrap lift, and it turned out better than I even could have hoped. I used a Bramble Fox stencil even for the mixed media. This one was for the last day. This was the last birthday sketch at Scrap-A-Sketch, and I used exclusively printables for the for everything on it. Well, except this Bramble Fox Sunflower and this Bramble Fox title. And these are a couple of Project Life cards. The prompt from Load was to talk about a getaway, a vacation that you'd taken. And this was the last vacation I have taken last June in England, where Scrappy Adam and I went on a Vicki Boutin cruise. And so these were photos taken from that cruise. And it's also the first vacation I had ever taken without John. So that's, well, you know, in 40 some odd years. So this is today's page. It is Mixed Media Mayhem Friday, as is every Friday. And we were to use watercolors, splatters, and distressed edges. So I tore, and for Load, we were to use the colors gray, black, and white, and to scrap about home or a home overseas or whatever. So I took the photo of the 2 floors of the building where we lived in Brussels back in 2000 to 2002. And I used Cosmic Watercolors by Vicki Boutin, really shimmery. And I painted the alphas as well as just kind of brush strokes across there. And when I did the splatters, it caused some water reactivity and a different level of shine. It's just really beautiful in person. And I used a Waterlog app, which turned my photo of the building into a watercolor painting. So, and I think within that app, the filter I used was called It's Technical, which added some lines to it, which I wanted. So that's my group of layouts. And tomorrow, I'll just be doing the Load prompt with whatever the sketch is for 30 Days of Sketches. That's on Saturday. On Sunday, I'll have both a Scrap Squad Sunday page that'll probably be published at midnight Sunday. And then later in the day, I'll have the Load prompt with the sketch. And so I'm going to try to be doing all the rest of the 30 Days of Sketches. And I will be finishing all of the rest of the Load prompts. And then I'll work in Mixed Media Mayhem. And we've also got Pink Fresh Friday coming up next Friday, and Simple Story Saturday. So I'll try to work those in with all of the other stuff I'm doing. So I don't know when my next layout share will be, to be honest, but I expect it'll be sometime in November. So thank you for watching, and I really appreciate it. If you saw, all of these have videos. If you saw anything and you can't find the video, ask me. Say you wanted to know something about that one with all the vegetables on it or something like that. I'll be happy to answer your questions. I thank you so much. Bye.